Hey, this is Gerald Burke, and this is my syllabus addendum video. After you watch this, you'll be good to go to take the addendum, the syllabus and addendum quiz, the first weekly quiz. So most of the questions are going to come out of the addendum, and it's stuff that I really want to hammer home with you guys, the sticking points for me. So to kick us off, I'm Gerald Burke. This is the spring of 2024. My office phone is 423 354 5232. My email address, my institutional email address is going to be gwburke, Burke, at northeaststate.edu. My office is located in T222. So that's going to be across from, I think, 244 or 245, in the middle of the hallway there. And it's going to be that office with the 3 cubicles in it. Bryce and Don are also going to be in there with me. Bryce being our student liaison, who I spoke about or will speak about in another video because I am recording these out of order. So my office hours, I'm going to be on campus, on site, available to talk to, drop in, make appointments, whatever, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Mondays, that time is earmarked for advising, but if you need me to advise outside of that time, you can't do Mondays, whatever, just shoot me an email, we'll work something out, or you can drop in during my other office hours on Wednesday and Thursday. Now, Tuesday, Friday, I am available virtually, which means I'm just at home watching my emails and stuff. So if you need something on one of those days, go ahead, reach out to me. If you need to schedule something, try to hit it in those times. But realistically, if you guys need something, just reach out to me. Let me know what time works for you. I know some of you guys don't have super flexible schedules. I have a fairly flexible schedule outside of our class meeting times, so that should be good. All right, so on to course policies, expectations, decorum. Number 1 is respect. Respect everybody. That's pretty self-explanatory. Hopefully you've learned that one by this point in your life. But basically, don't be talking over people. Don't be distracting people. Pay attention. Just sit, listen. Not super hard. For class time, generally speaking, we plan to be in class during the entire scheduled class time. We've only got so many meetings throughout the year that we get to have with each other. We've got a lot of content to cover, so don't make plans during class time. Is essentially, if you can avoid it, don't make plans during class time. If you think you're going to be late or you think you need to leave early, just go ahead and let me know before class starts. Not a super big deal, but what I will say, and this is super important, and I know, for those that are, have taken a few classes in our department, you're familiar with this rule. For those that aren't, basically we have to make attendance 10% of your grade in all of our CITC classes. That's not optional. And of that 10%, you need to attend 70% of class sessions. That means that if you don't attend at least 70% of the class sessions, you will, by department policy, fail the class. Doesn't matter if you have an A, B, C. Odds are good if you're missing that much class, you don't have an A, B, or C, but basically just be careful about that, because it's really easy to slip into, especially the evening classes meet once a week. You only have to miss like 5 times, miss 5 classes. because it's 5 weeks of content that you're missing. So it is a big deal, but it's easier to do than you would think. All right, now for absences, if you need to miss a class, I would like to have at least 24 hours notice. If you give me at least 24 hours notice, we'll figure something out. We'll figure out a way for you to make up whatever labs, quizzes, whatever else is going on. It's a lot harder to figure that stuff out after the fact. So the more notice, the better. That said, I don't need a doctor's note. If you tell me, hey, I got a dentist appointment on this day, I don't need a note from your dentist. I trust you. Um, if you're like, hey, I got a dentist appointment, and the next week you're like, hey, I got a, if it starts to add up, we can have a conversation about what's going on. But for the most part, like, I trust you to be where you say you are, what you've got going on. I'll take you at your word. Um, Honestly, I don't do anything with the documentation when people bring it to me. So it's not. I don't need it. I don't require it. Um, Now, if you miss a class, and you're not able to give me a heads up, like, God forbid, car accident, something like that. Um, just whenever you're safe, healthy, whenever you're able to reach out to me, just let me know. Let me know what went down, and we should be able to figure something out. Because, like, I mean, stuff happens. Everything. We've all got stuff going on all over the place. We have car accidents, bereavements, all kind of, and that all that stuff happened to students just last semester. So it's like I completely get it. I'm willing to work with you. The biggest thing with any of the attendance stuff is just communication. If you're not coming to class and you're not talking to me and letting me know what's going on, I can't do anything for you. So the biggest thing is going to be communication. Now, as far as email communication goes, D2L is kind of the best way to reach me on classes. If you reach me outside of D2L, just make sure to put your class number, section number. So D2L will sort email by class for me, so that I know, which class you're talking about, which class you're in. Outlook does not do that. So if you email me on my regular email, make sure to put that information in. Otherwise, I can't guarantee that I'll be able to help you, or you know all that stuff. But cell phones. I don't really care that much about cell phones. You can leave them on your desk. My biggest thing is, like, if your phone starts making noise, interrupting lectures, labs, stuff like that, that's going to be a problem. I'll ask you to turn it down. If you're expecting the call, just put it on silent and set it on your desk so that when it lights up and says, "Hey, big, important call," you can see it. Um, we don't want everyone to hear it. That's the big thing. And the other thing is, during exams, um, I want those phones off the desk in your pocket. It's really easy to just slide into Google on a phone. So if you've got your phone out during an exam, the first time I see it, I'll ask you to put it up. The second time, just you fail the exam. You go home, because I have to assume that if I'm asking you multiple times to put your phone up, that something's going on. Now, if you do get, like, the babysitter had to leave, or some kind of crazy call, just go ahead and excuse yourself. Take the call, figure out the situation. Once you've got the situation figured out, come up to me before you leave, if you can, or reach out to me after you leave, whenever you get your situation sorted, and then as soon as possible, within 24 hours, reschedule the exam. We could have you sit for it again. But the biggest thing is, like, yeah, we've all got lives outside of this. This is This is important, but it's obviously not the most important thing in everyone's life. But we need everything to be fair, equitable, and we need to diminish the likelihood of my cats are just going at it. Cool. But yeah, we did just cut down on the possibility of cheating. I don't expect you guys to cheat. Cheating's not crazy common. Um, for the most part, people just do their best, and I trust you guys. I trust you guys. So, for exams, when we have an exam, all right, everyone needs to be quiet, keep to themselves. Don't talk to your partner, don't lean over, don't ask questions. If you need to speak to me, go ahead and lock your computer screen, come up to the front of the class, and speak to me personally. Um, Once you're done with your exam, just quietly excuse yourself, leave the room. You can look over at me and give a thumbs up or whatever, it doesn't matter. And I'm just, these cats, I have too many cats. That's my problem. Um, oh man, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, so if you got your phone out during the exam, um, actually, I covered all of that stuff. But once again, super important. During regular class, you can have your phone out as long as it's not making noise or distracting people. During exams, you can't. But if it's an emergency, you can excuse yourself, reschedule your exam, blah, blah, blah. We've got that covered. Um, let's see. Yes. Okay. So if an exam is going to be open notes, open internet, open resources, open anything, I'll let you guys know ahead of time. If I don't say anything, then assume that it's not open. Um, that is going to be the default. Um, let's see. If you miss an exam or test, let me know what happened. Um, Preferably use that 24-hour window before. But if something crazy happens, just let me know as soon as you can. Why you missed the exam, why you need to make it up. Now, for makeup exams, sometimes I will be able to proctor those for you guys, but for the most part, it's something that you have to do on your own time. You schedule it with the testing center, and then they reach out to me to get the information for the test. Um, if it's like 2 weeks after the exam, we're not gonna do a makeup. So 5 business days is kind of the measuring stick there, but you definitely don't want to push it. Get it in and made up as soon as possible. Whatever works for your schedule. We cannot make up exams during class time. That's nah. Now, the testing center covered that. That's good. So late assignments. Those who have taken me before are familiar with my policy on late assignments. But basically, I will take them. I will take them usually up until the last day of classes, which that's not the last time we meet. That is on the college schedule. What is the last day of classes officially. That is usually the cutoff for me for late assignments. But I take 30 points off the top out of 100. So if you turn in something late, the best you can get on it is a C, and it goes down from there. Um, So you definitely don't want to be late, but don't just assume that I missed the deadline. I no, there's no point in turning it in. There's always a point. Um, because even a 70, on a grade sheet is significantly better than a 0, as much as it sucks. But late, that's a pretty hard line. Basically, in D2L, I will set up the deadline for the item and for the assignment, the exam, whatever we're doing. I'll set up the deadline, and anything that's turned in after the deadline gets flagged. If it gets flagged, I take those points off. Um, doesn't matter if you were a minute late, 5 minutes late, 3 hours late. It's If it gets flagged, I take the points off unless we have spoken previously. Um, Now, generally speaking, if the submission box is open, you can submit to it. As long as the work is done and correct, I will grade it. Take that 30 points off, and then do that. Now, what you shouldn't do is just be like, okay, well, he takes late work, so I'll just turn in everything, at the end of the class. Because what you're doing there is you're setting yourself up for failure. Because what that does is it says best case scenario, you're going to get a C in the class because everything's late. And then it only goes down from there. And if you haven't been keeping up with the work and doing everything, odds are pretty good you're not going to get 100% on every one of those assignments that you turned in. So a C is optimistic at that point. You're realistically looking at a D or lower. You don't want to do that. So keep up with your work. But we all have bad weeks. Life gets in the way. That's why I allow for a little bit of wiggle room, and just to keep things fair, that's the 30-point knockdown. Um, I may one day change that policy, but I'm not changing it this semester. It worked out pretty well last semester, so we shall see. Bullying, harassment, racism, unacceptable behavior or language will not be tolerated. Um, and really, this circles back to respect. Everybody has a right to be who they are, believe in what they believe in. And if you cannot have a polite conversation about that, you really shouldn't have a conversation about it at all. Um, and honestly, it's typically the best policy to leave this stuff outside of class. But we're also not trying to suppress who you are as a person. So feel free to express yourself. Just do not approach other people who are expressing themselves with anything other than respect. And we'll all be good. Just respect each other, please. That's all it comes down to. Check D2L daily. This is very important. I will drop stuff in randomly. A good thing to do is get that Pulse app, the D2L Pulse, because anytime I add something to it, you'll get a notification. And I know this because while I'm building out these classes, like, my phone is blowing up with notifications that I added stuff, um, which is annoying for me, but great for you guys. So you'll be able to keep up with what's going on there. Um, Teamwork, collaboration. If we're working on labs in class and you're stuck on something, feel free to look over and be like, yo, how do I do this? If there's another student in the room that is doing better with it, absolutely always feel free to help each other out. That's one of the great things about going to school in a brick and mortar college like this, is you are surrounded by other people that are doing the same thing, that are all available to help you and support you. That's a huge thing. But what we want to avoid is, one student does all of the work, hands it to his buddy, and says, hey, uh, here's the answers for this lab. Here's the work for this lab. Don't turn in other people's work. That's the big thing. Especially since, we look at all of these submissions next to each other, everything's going to match up, and we will notice um, when things are similar, like too similar. When two documents are identical, it's very obvious. So now there's group assignments where you will all turn in the same document. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is individual assignments. Your work is your own work. You turn in your work. There's no problem helping somebody with their work, but you cannot do their work for them, and they cannot turn in the work that you've done. That's what it comes down to. And I think it'll be obvious, like, whether you're crossing that line, because odds are pretty good. If you have to wonder whether or not you're crossing the line, you're getting pretty close to it. Um, Now, as far as D2L, I'm going to be putting in resources. There's going to be videos, readings, lecture slides, stuff that is useful for that module, helpful for that module. That stuff will get built up throughout the module, so keep a lookout for updates. And then there are deliverables. Deliverables are things for that module that are... Dude, are you serious? Okay. Deliverables are assignments, anything you can turn in for that module. It's work that needs to be done. So basically, if you want to pass this class, and I can just about guarantee, now there are no guarantees in any of this stuff, but I can just about guarantee that if you watch and read everything in the resources, you turn in everything in deliverables, you show up for every class, study for your exams, you're going to pass. It's very hard to do all of those things, do all of that work, and not pass, unless you just fundamentally do not connect with the material. But even in that case, I'd say you could probably squeak by. It's the work. You got to do the work. That's the number one thing. You got to show up, do the work. You show up, do the work, you're going to do okay. And that's the biggest thing for me. So you need to be respectful. You need to be on time. And actually, circle back, because I thought I put this line in here. And now I'm not seeing it. Oh man, I'm not seeing it. You know what? I think I put it in the welcome message in the D2L section, and forgot to include it here. So I'll include it here, update this document. But effectively, for the night classes, you're going to have an hour grace period to come in at any point and do the weekly quiz. I will mark you as having attended. For the day classes, you're going to have a 30-minute window, because the day classes are a fair bit shorter. So here's the thing. If you come in late and you miss that window, and you didn't reach out to me and let me know, like, hey, we got traffic on 26, or, because that stuff happens, man. Especially 26. Last semester was absolutely insane. Like, I was late a few times. That's why I started taking back roads to get to work, because it's just the freeway. I just, like, I think the cars just, like, hitting each other. Like, it's the thing. But, if you reach out to me, let me know something's happening, we can definitely work around this. We might be able to, open up the slot. But, if you come in after that grace period, the quiz is closed, And what happens is you do not get a mark for attendance, and you do not get a grade for that quiz. So you get hit twice. So it's very important to come in within that time window. Now, if you've got something where you are going to have to habitually be late, let me know. Let me know, preferably. Oh, hey, there's one of them. Preferably before we get into the swing of things, um, because it takes me forever to like notice patterns in my classes. Um, Half the class could be missing, and it would take me like 2 weeks to notice that we were down people. Um, so let me know as early as possible, because I don't want to fail you on attendance like right out of the gate. That would suck. Um, and we'll try to work something out there. Odds are pretty good if you've got you know something going on where you regularly have to miss half the class. That's going to be the kind of problem that's going to be hard to rectify, but we'll see what we can do. But oh, hold on. Legal disclaimer. So yeah, no assertion can be given by the instructor relative to student success. That's a big important line because I told you that if you did all of these things, you would most likely pass. I need to be very careful about saying you will pass if you do all of these things because I can't guarantee you will do that. Uh, but I will say is it does make it likely. I have yet to have a student fail that showed up to class every day, did all the work, and studied for the exams. So take that as you will, but know that it's not, like a guarantee in a legally binding sense that, like, hey, you're going to pass if you do these three things. No, I can't guarantee you that. Now, students with disabilities, if you're working with disability services and you have an accommodation letter from them, get that to me ASAP and then schedule a little bit of time with me, right before class, right after class, so we can have a conversation because these letters can be pretty generic about what they require. You know what you need best, and I'd like to talk to you about what you need to succeed. Like if you need to set up tests in the testing center to have a low distraction environment, I totally understand. That's absolutely normal and common. Any other accommodations, anything like that, you break your leg halfway through the semester and, you need to, attend part time on Zoom or whatever. Like, we'll figure it out. But I need those accommodation letters as soon as you have them. And then I need to talk to you about what it means for you. You do not have to do this in front of the entire class. Your accommodation letters are 100% your business. No one else has to know about what's going on. That is completely personal. It would be illegal and unethical for me to share any information that you've got going on. You are not compelled to share any information, but I just need that accommodation letter and basically just tell me what you need. Now, the safety policy, keep class clean. I don't care if you bring water or whatever in the class. Like, I know this is officially policy, but like, we've got like all of my classes this semester are pretty long, and I'm not going to ask you to sit in class for 3 or 4 hours and not drink anything. That's insane. Sanitation materials. Yeah, if you need anything to wipe down your keyboard, holler at me. We've got stuff like that all over the place. Um, and then student work. So this is a big one, and we touched on this a little bit before. But all work that is submitted for a grade must be done individually. Um, Any exception to this will be defined in writing by the instructor. That includes stuff like group assignments and things like that. Um, Now, plagiarism. That is where you are passing somebody else's work off as your own work. Uh, we have a very strict policy about plagiarism, about academic dishonesty in general, cheating. You know what cheating is. Um, Now, there's the other thing too, freeloading. So, working in a study group, turning in, um, somebody else's work. And I'm going to expand this a little bit to talking about, working in a group project and not contributing. If we do a group project, I will poll the group to figure out, if anyone's not picking up slack. And I will also note if you guys start a group project or we do something like that, um, and you can tell early on you've got somebody that's not pulling their weight, let me know as soon as possible. So that I can have a conversation with the person. Maybe we could get it turned around before it has to be, me failing that person for that assignment. Um, but just show up prepared to work, and show up prepared to do your own work. If you're in a group project, show up prepared to do your share of the work, and that's it. And that's it. It's all about work. You got to do it. This stuff it's just work. That's all it is. Um, Now, as far as AI goes, so the university's policy is, or the colleges, we're a college. I keep saying the university. The college's policy is that you have to cite anytime you use an AI tool to generate material for an assignment. Um, Now, beyond that, it all comes down to the specific instructor, um, expectations, requirements. And the slate of classes that we have going on this semester, or that I have going on this semester in particular, um, AI is not really, as far as asking AI to do your work for you. It's not going to be a very big problem. I'm not going to be asking you to do a bunch of research and writing assignments. This is actually I'm doing this semester. I'm doing computer org and um, math for computer science. So it's actually mostly just math and stuff. And AI is not going to be any better at answering these questions than a simple Google search or a calculator. So it's it's not really going to come up. I'm going to stand with the, if somehow it does come up, go ahead and cite your use. Um, and then if for whatever reason, we end up doing a writing assignment, or at some point there's a writing assignment, do not use AI to write the entire thing. You can usually tell, and if you can't, you could always run it through one of those checkers. Pretty sophisticated, especially for the earlier models of like ChatGPT and stuff. The stuff that's commercially available is well known, and the tools are very good at detecting AI. But yeah, so unless otherwise noted, all assignments are given on Monday mornings at 8 a.m. and due the following Sunday night at 11:59. That is generally the rule. So I would We're a Monday to Sunday organization, and that is how we're running things. That's how we're running assignments. That's how we're running due dates. Generally speaking, if an assignment requires something more specific, then we will do it that way. But for the most part, assignments will drop Monday and show up as due Sunday at 11:59. And they will always, whatever day they're due on, they're always going to be due at 11:59. That's just standard practice, kind of across the board. Effectively, it's giving you to the last minute. Now, what I would not recommend is waiting until the last minute, because maintenance operations are typically run at night when no one is expected to be using the system. Um, so there is a chance, and that's the thing with like Banner, D2L, all of that stuff. It's finicky at the best of times. So I wouldn't gamble on D2L or Banner working right away. At the last minute, like in a pinch. I wouldn't gamble on that. So that is, man, did that really take 36 minutes? Ah, I'm sorry, folks, but at least we're doing this online and we're not having to do this in class, which would be a lot more tedious. I should have brought water with me. I didn't expect to be talking for this long. All right, so this will be the end of the syllabus addendum video, and then the next will be the quiz. Take the quiz after this. So, all right, folks, I will catch you probably next week or hopefully next week, but have a lot of fun.